Just a hot tip, if you are an artist or you use paintbrushes for any reason. Ooh, um, I just did a quick video on my Instagram that's also on my Facebook, and I don't have very many videos on there, so if you're wanting to find it, it should be easy to find. But just know how to fix brushes, because I've had four now, including the one I just fixed, this red one, that over the course of time I've wanted to fix. So the head sometimes comes off there, the metal piece that the brush is attached to comes off the wood, like the stem of the brush, and all I do to fix it is, video's going right now, is duct tape and a glue gun. You can get pliers too, that might help a little bit, but mainly it's the glue gun and the duct tape. I just, maybe I'll insert that video here or something. It's like 3 minutes long though, because I made it way longer than it needed to be, which is classic, but I can't go back now because I've already fixed the brush. So, yeah, video is on Instagram and Facebook. You can watch it there.
On the road. Went to another school today that I've never been to before. It's kind of interesting that I can sub for like, I don't know how many years now, too many. At least 3 full years. About 3 full years. And there's still schools I have not been to that are high schools. Elementary schools, that makes sense because I avoid those. I avoid middle schools too, but I'll go to them. Elementary schools, there are some I have been to, maybe only one actually. And there's like some K-12s that I've been to, and that's a whole other thing. But there are still some schools that are like junior high / middle school combined with high schools that I just have never been to up until this year. 3 of them. There's 3 schools this year that I had never been to before. And yeah, it's just interesting to see those different school cultures and how also schools are like run differently when they're just like so isolated. Things can get really different. I would say every school, no matter what, has their own distinct school culture, but then, yeah, there's, again, like, that holds true if you're 5 minutes away from another high school, or you're an hour away from the nearest high school, or anything of significance, because you don't have much around you. But anyway, I don't really have a whole lot to say that I can say about the school I was just at. It was good. It was good. It was a long day, but only because there wasn't much to do. So it was like super chill for like almost all of it. But it was a huge contrast in some cases too. And it was really interesting. Really interesting. I definitely, I know that I like city schools, and there are some things that I can like about rural schools. I think, like, what if I would have liked to, I would like to teach where I went to high school. Not saying that would be better than other places. I think I would like a bigger school because there's more programs and there's just more diversity and all those things. But a rural school wouldn't bother me to have a permanent contract at. And the school I went to was bigger than a lot of the rural schools here that I sub at. Not all of them. Some are comparable. But I think that would be cool. Because there wasn't a lot of diversity there, and there wasn't a lot of extra programs, but it was like big enough, with enough of a student population that I think like subbing there, or working there, like being a teacher there, would not be super weird. But that's, you know, I'd have to compare the numbers, like, because there's schools that I feel are comparable to the school I went to, but I should like look up the population and see, like, the town population and see how it compares to the school. Well, but that doesn't necessarily signify that it's the same as the school population. Anyway, I'm rambling. I know that I have not vlogged much this week. I don't even know what I've got. I've been busy with work and just other things, which is the trend lately. Once I get back out on the bike a little more, well, again, I gotta make time to go do that though. But I will have more footage then. I have a feeling, by the way, it is plus 11, and I have a feeling that I'm gonna jinx us all by saying I hope that we don't get any more snow, and this is it. It's March 16th. No more snow would be tight. Some of this is definitely the wind because it was so abrupt. We just got mad wind, Chinooks, of course, and then it warmed up and we got no snow. So hopefully the wind dies down and it just stays nice, and I can get on the bike again here soon and get into that a couple days a week. That would be really good. If I can ride twice a week, that'd be fantastic. So yeah, also getting into the studio, still trying to find a balance. It's like how far into the school year, but so much has changed in the way of priorities, but like still trying to find a balance. And yeah, yep, taking on extra work is a thing. That's like working outside of my like regular like subbing was a necessity this year, and I've picked up more work, and like yeah, so that's been one thing as to upsetting the balance and kind of like having to rearrange and figure things out again. Anyway, I'm gonna shut my face.
Really quick outro to the vlog. I don't even know what footage I have this week, but I know there's not much. Worked a bunch this week. Working out of town at the school that I've never been to before really worked out. It was pretty sick. I enjoyed it. It is a bit of a trek, so I do lose money. I mean, there is a school that is 5 minutes away from me, but here's a school that's 45 minutes away from me. Obviously, you gotta do the math on now that's an hour and a half of driving rather than 10 minutes of driving, so gas is a factor. But honestly, going to that school is worth it versus going to some other schools. So I'm glad that I finally took a chance on that place, and the stars aligned and it felt right, and that I did it. And now, like, I've been pre-booked there a couple more days for April, so that worked out really well. The kids are just super, super chill, so that's a nice change of pace versus some other places I've been. And yeah, it just opens up a door and making connections and all that kind of thing too, so that's cool. That's really all I have right now. It's been a very trying week. Other things, there's a bunch of reviews, I think 4 reviews. Let me try to remember them all, and there's a conversation in there as well. I might have to look it up. I reviewed, they're all books, I believe. So one is Fish in a Tree, another is Bridge to Terabithia, talked about that one, and Lolita, finally talked about that one, and then Pop, which is just like a graphic novel, a comic book, not a graphic novel. All those things I have read in like the past like couple of years. Like Lolita I finished in the summer, Fish in a Tree was like before that, like 6 months maybe before that, and Pop was like a couple of years ago, and Bridge to Terabithia maybe 1.5 to 2 years ago. So I've caught up on like a lot of the older reviews that I needed to do. I still have a couple left, and then I'll be just like caught up. I finally finished The Virgin Suicides, which is just a beautiful book, so I'm going to do a review on that next week. The conversation that I had this past week is the paradox of hedonism, or the paradox of happiness, as some people call it. So I kind of discussed that a bit, and how happiness is elusive, and there's that analogy of the butterfly, like if you're trying to catch it, you won't be able to, but if you just sit still, it will come to you. So there's that. See you on another time.